David Harper had always been a quiet man at Orion Tech, a multinational company renowned for its cutthroat corporate culture. At 35, he was diligent, meticulous, and dependable, but his quiet nature made him invisible, or worse, a target. Today, however, that invisibility would make his humiliation all the more public. It began with a presentation. David had spent weeks preparing a proposal for a major client, a deal that could bring millions to the company. He had rehearsed late into the night, fine-tuning every slide and word. But when he entered the conference room, he was met with stifled laughter and whispered exchanges. Karen, his ambitious and notoriously ruthless team lead, immediately dismissed his effort. "Oh, David, you really think this is going to impress the board?" she said, her voice dripping with sarcasm. A few polite chuckles followed. David felt the blood rise to his face, but he pressed on, clicking through the slides. Karen's interruption came again, sharper this time. "Let's be honest, everyone. This is cute, but it's amateur. Maybe stick to filing reports, David." David's stomach knotted. Every eye in the room seemed to pierce him. He completed the presentation in a blur and returned to his desk with slumped shoulders. The humiliation had been complete. Whispers followed him through the office like shadows. Emails critiquing him circulated. Even the interns snickered when he walked by. But David did not retaliate. He did not lash out. Instead, he retreated into his work. Late nights became routine. David analyzed every inefficiency, documented mismanaged projects, and mapped the risks the management refused to see. Quietly, meticulously, he built a record that would later become his ticket out of humiliation. 3 weeks later, the company faced a crisis. A whistleblower had leaked sensitive financial information to a major investor, sending stock prices plummeting overnight. Panic rippled through the board. CEO Richard Lang, a man more concerned with appearances than substance, was in shock. Karen seized the moment. She called an emergency meeting, subtly blaming project teams while positioning herself as the savior of the company. "Clearly, we need someone who can handle complex problems, someone with vision," she told the board, her voice calm and authoritative. David watched quietly. The irony was delicious. She had ignored the real flaws, yet now she claimed to have the answers. Meanwhile, David had been preparing. Over the past month, he had compiled exhaustive reports on operational flaws, financial missteps, and opportunities the management had overlooked. He also created a recovery plan, step-by-step instructions to restore investor confidence and stabilize the company. Boldly, David requested a private meeting with Richard Lang. "Sir," David said, "I've analyzed the recent breach. I know what went wrong, and I've mapped out exactly how to fix it. I believe we can recover the stock and secure the investors' trust within a month." Richard stared at him, incredulous. The audacity! But curiosity outweighed pride. He asked David to walk him through the plan. By the end of the meeting, Richard had made a decision that would change David's life. He would implement David's plan and promote him immediately to Chief Operating Officer, granting him unprecedented access to decision-making power. Karen's smug confidence began to crack. Emails she sent to undermine David were ignored. Project meetings she tried to dominate were subtly redirected by him. Investors began calling the office, praising the immediate improvements. Then the final tipping point. Richard Lang resigned. Personal scandals, mismanagement, and plummeting investor confidence had made him a liability. The board needed a leader who truly understood the company and could restore trust, and everyone knew who that was. David Harper, the man who had been humiliated weeks earlier, was now CEO of Orion Tech overnight. The tables had turned. Karen's power evaporated. Her attempt at sabotage were documented in David's meticulous reports, ready for the board if needed. Those who had laughed at him now reported to him. At his first company-wide speech as CEO, David did not gloat. He spoke with calm authority. "I know many of you doubted me. I know some of you laughed when I tried to contribute. But hard work, preparation, and integrity always pay off. We're going to rebuild this company. Together," he said. Standing ovation followed, not because he had achieved the title, but because everyone recognized a lesson in his rise. Never underestimate quiet competence, never mock diligence, and most importantly, justice often comes when it is least expected. David Harper's story became a legend within the company. He had been humiliated, mocked, and dismissed, yet his patience, skill, and foresight elevated him above everyone who had scorned him. The quiet man, once invisible, held all the power, and in the end, the life lesson was clear. Sometimes the person you believe is weakest is the one holding the ultimate power. And those who humiliate and belittle may one day report to the very person they underestimated. Justice is not always instant, but it is inevitable. Subscribe for more stories.